Good morning, everyone. Day 40 on the trail. Leaving No Business Knob Shelter. As you can see, a lot of condensation in the air. Last night, had two huge thunderstorms. One about 9 o'clock. I pitched my tent because the shelter was full. And it came down. It had wind blowing. The unfortunate part when the wind blows is sometimes you get a little splatter up in the tent. So, had that going on, but it wasn't too bad. Eventually died down after about an hour. But man, was it coming down. Tent performed very well, except as I said, that wind splatter. And you could see a film of water running between my ground sheet and the base of my tent. So the waterproof tub on my tent held very well. I only got down to about 48 degrees. And then after that 9 o'clock storm, continued raining for a while. Then about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, another thunderstorm came through. Hard rain for a while. It wasn't as windy, so that was nice. I was all snug as a bug in a rug in my bag. So it eventually led up to a drizzle, and it stops by pack up time, which is nice. But I am carrying an extra pound of water and wet tent and ground cloth. That's all right. Today we got 5 or 6 miles into Erwin, Tennessee, and Uncle Johnnie's Nolichucky Hostel. It's under new ownership, so we'll have to see what the new owner's doing. Once there, and take a shower, do laundry, get everything ready. Trying to think what else there. Gonna go out for dinner with Sue, who's now officially Turbo, Try, and Sir. There's two main restaurants in town, an Italian place and a Mexican place. Most people go to the Mexican place because they're the only ones that serve alcohol. So I have a funny feeling everyone wants to have something to drink. But it's been 7 days in the woods, and shower sounds awful nice. I'm rigged up for rain for the most part. Pack cover on, rain pants, rain jacket. So if it starts to rain again, I'm good. Got my waterproof socks on. I highly recommend them. If you don't want to get Gore-Tex shoes, you probably know Gore-Tex shoes take a lot longer to dry. But yesterday, I wore my waterproof socks in my wet shoes, and they were dry. My shoes were dry. My feet were fairly dry. If you're wondering how well they work pretty well. My feet, it's kind of like wearing a couple thick wool socks when it's a little warm. Your feet get a little sweaty, but not outrageously so. So I got to give it credit that they do work well. All right. Well, trail's wet. It's been raining all night. It's going to be muddy. How much filming I'll be able to do, I can't say. If it starts to rain, of course, I got to bottle up my phone to protect it. Never did figure out how waterproof it is, so I don't want to take any chances. I'll do my best to bring you the trail today. I'm sure it's going to be a little muddy in places. It's going to be a lot of downhill. So I'll get back to you as interesting things present themselves. I think that was just reached the top of a hill, which I think is the big climb of the day. So, gonna be heading down. I hope. Might have a bit of a ridge walk with a couple bumps. There always seems to be a knob to go over. Dropped out of my rain gear. No better guarantee that it's going to rain soon than to do that. And you can see a lot of white pine, rhododendron, bunch of oaks. So I had my hill climbing mojo going up that hill. Didn't stop one time. Well, one time I took pictures of that white flower you just saw. Some laurels too, right there. Nothing spectacular photo-wise. Everything's wet. The mist is lifting. You can see between us and those mountains that there's no dense fog. That's a good sign. It's nice and cool. Good hiking weather. It's humid though. And on that note, I'm going to put some northbound footprints to my southbound side and get on with it. I think we got a little gap here and another knob. So I'm going to devote that to hiking, boneless. And I'll get back to you in the next clip. All right, here's a striped maple. Opposite branching. Green stem with whitish lines. See, can't always go by that, but there was a stem there. There were two stems here. And then you've got definite opposite here, here. That's striped maple. It's an understory tree, which means it grows in the shade of the forest. Don't get much bigger than 20, 30 feet. Although I've seen some big ones down here, down south. I saw one had to be a good 8 or 10 inches in diameter, which is pretty big for striped maple. Deer love their leaves. All right, let me move on northward. The smell of fire, whether it was a wildfire or a controlled burn. I don't know, but I'm going to guess it was a controlled burn. It's cool the way it's on one side of the trail but not on the other. Controlled burns are a forest management tool. The reason they do it is a lot of debris accumulates on the forest floor. If you let it accumulate too much, when there is a fire, it burns so hot it ruins the trees. But yet, if you burn every year or two, when it's just a little bit of debris, the fires are faster and not as hot, and the bark on the trees can withstand the temperatures for the short period of time that the fire moves through. When you don't manage it, when the fire comes through, they burn hotter and longer around the trees, which can hurt the standing trees. That's the issue that California is having. California itself is an ecosystem that most of where these fires are, forest fires are a natural occurrence, but we suppress them because we build houses in those areas that get frequent fires. And California doesn't do prescribed burns because they leave the forests untouched. So they get a lot of buildup of burnables on the ground. And when a fire comes through, it gets so hot, it just destroys trees and everything. And that comes from both fire suppression, which lets the stuff build up, and not doing forest management practices that are pretty much necessary if you're going to have people living in those areas. Alright, I think I'm on the final downhill, so I'm going to get some stuff going, some footsteps going. The sun just started peeking out, and I believe that's an old Chucky River down there, but I can't get a view through. Oh, maybe we can. Oh, look how muddy the water is after all that rain last night. I'll have to cross that, but I think Uncle Johnnie's is on this side of the river, and Erwin is on the other side of the river. So, we'll have to figure something out. Uncle Johnnie runs 2 shuttles into town. One in the morning about 9:30 and the other in the afternoon at 4:30. And obviously I missed the 9:30. Sue and Turbo and Try, got up, left camp about 5, I think, in order to try to catch the morning shuttle. So what I'll do is when I get there, get into the room, get my laundry together, take a shower, do my laundry, get all that stuff taken care of. And at 4:30 we're going in town, as I said, probably for Mexican food. So less than 2 miles to go, all downhill. At least I hope so. if there's an uphill, it's just a little nub. And I'll bring you along as the trail determines. There's a view of Erwin. And the Chucky River that runs along it. Alright, let me finish this descent and then I can take a shower after is it 6 or 7 days? I don't know. Of mopping with water every night. Amazing what we can get away with in the middle of nowhere. Came around a bend in the trail, a switchback, and we're into mosses again. And it looks like a hemlock forest. Remember hemlock? With the, not going to be able to see it. The needles come off in up, down fashion. But you got reindeer moss there. A couple different kinds, depending on where on the hillside it is. All fighting for their territory here. The delicate one. You see the delicate one coming through this one. Pretty cool. Nature at her finest. I'm adjusting my pack. Like a green carpet. Thought I saw something. Now, this section of trail has just been a bunch of switchbacks going down a pretty steep hillside. Oh. Speaking of switchbacks, there's another one. A couple backpackers just coming up this way, going southbound. So, even southbounders have to climb a hill after a gap. There's a different kind than what we saw previously. Very well. Let me get to the bottom of this hill for a long-awaited shower. Here we are. Uncle Johnnie's Hostel. The obligatory bear. You can see all the packs of people just stopping in for resupplies and stuff. Pretty cool murals. Yeah, bunk rooms. Like the boxes. Kind of a cacophony of buildings and stuff. That's the shower house. And they got they serve coffee and in there in the mornings. A couple little cabins. We're staying in there. It's got a bedroom and a couple couches in the kitchen. That's the laundry. That's for people who are hammocking. You can stay in there. You can tent on the property. And that's mostly my mess on the table. Just waiting for our laundry to finish. Then we're going to go into town and have some Mexican food. And then, who knows what. Very good. I'll try to check in with you later. If I don't, I'll pick it up in the morning. We'll probably go into downtown Erwin and get a room at Super 8 Hotel.